Welcome to Worthy Ones, the video series where I take all the newest issue ones that I read for the current comic book a week and deem them worthy or not worthy. Guys, I'm Mike Spider Slayer. Welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. If you love daily comic book content and you might like me helping you make decisions on what comic books to buy, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, before we dive into it, if you guys want to become a member of my YouTube channel, it's pretty simple. Just go on to my home screen. There is a join button there. You hit that join button. It's going to give you an option of 3 separate tiers, and as low as 99 cents, guys, you can get early access to the videos. You can get stickers when you write comments, and also you can get monthly badges just letting others know how long you've been a member of Comic Book Corner 2.0. And of course, yes, it does help support the channel. We got a fun show for you today, so let's not waste any more time. All right, so we're gonna kick it off with a good one here, guys. We have Dazzler. This is issue 1. This book is a 32-page comic for the price of $5, written by Jason Liu. The art is done by Rafael Lorenrio, and the color here, is done by Javier Tartaglia. And I felt like the colors are probably one of the most important things when it comes to a Dazzler comic, because that's her powers, and if the colors are not bright and vibrant, then it's not a Dazzler book. They hit that on many levels here, especially when you see Allison in her concert. I thought it was really well done. The facial expressions are great. This has like Taylor Swift all over it, right? She's singing, putting on great shows, trying to get the community together to forget about their problems, because what brings everybody together, it's music, right? And it was a nice looking book, and you know, it sends a message, right? And then obviously there's something that happens where we get to see the female Scorpion try to sabotage the concert. Now, in the beginning of this, it was all about hiding the mutants and things like that. And at the end of the day, it's like, hey, let's be yourself. It's sending a message. That's really what this comic is about. It was fun seeing the concert being set up by Strong Guy and Multiple Man. Was it an action-packed, super intense X-Men comic book? No, absolutely not. Does it have super corny lyrics in it? Yeah, absolutely it does. And I'm gonna deem this book, though, worthy. I just want to see how corny it can get. You know, for many people, I can see you not buying this anymore. It might not be the Dazzler book that you're looking for, but I do want to see what this is. I know this is a mini, right? But hey, it is what it is. Now, if I had to grade this book, it's nothing spectacular. I'm going to give it a C+. It's very much middle ground for me. But again, I want to see where it goes. But we're not done with Dazzler yet, as Mike Spider Slayer is putting on a performance for some of the lyrics of the Dazzler. Here we go, guys. This is it. This is what she sings in the comic book. Here we go. Homo superior! They say the power's beyond compare. But all I wanted was to sing to Dazzler to share. You can call me Dazzler for the light I bring. But the truth is, it's a burden, it's a heavy thing. They say I meant for more to fight along the brave, but my heart belongs to the stage where I can truly save. See me in the shadows, I'll shine in the spotlight. Glow for the power of my voice. It's the only truth that I know. I'm a mutant with a dream, just trying to connect. My career's on shaky ground with secrets I must keep. But when I sing, I find my strength in every note, in every leap. Out and proud, out and proud. Don't be ashamed of it, out and proud. Rock on, baby. There it is. There's the lyrics of the Dazzler Issue 1. Spirits of Vengeance. This is issue 1, 32 pages for the price of $5. I have been reading a lot of Ghost Rider recently, at least Benjamin Percy's run on Ghost Rider. And with this Spirit of Vengeance book, I was a little bit hesitant about buying it because he wasn't writing it. And I don't have a rich history of Ghost Rider, to tell you the truth. So this one is written by Sabir Parazia, and the art is done by Sean Damian Hill. The artwork for me in this particular book, it doesn't really work. I just found myself a little bit like feeling like the characters are just off, like in proportions. Their facial expressions were weird. I don't know, it didn't work. Like, look at that facial expression, like right there. It just, I don't know, man. They're like bug faced, right? So it just wasn't my favorite artwork. You know, even when you get times with, you know, Ghost Rider in there or whatnot, it just, I don't know, it just didn't work, right? And I just found myself lost when reading this comic book. Now, I don't know if it has to deal with the history of the Spirit of Vengeance and all the characters from the past, but it just didn't do a good job, in my opinion, for new readers. You just get these random kids that come across this scarecrow, and it was kind of fun in the beginning, in the first 4 pages, but once it gets away from these kids, and this scarecrow comes alive and burns one hand's kid off, burns the hand off of this kid, then the book kind of goes south for me. It kind of goes into like what I think was a flashback for Johnny Storm, you know, with these harpies or whatnot. And then we get to the point of where this scarecrow is now alive with this Billy guy. And then you get the father of this kid whose hand got burnt off. He has like a freaking dinosaur in his trunk. Like, where are we going with this? So I don't know, man. For me, this book is not worthy. It's probably not going to be continued. It doesn't give me that same vibe, that same impact of Benjamin Percy's Ghost Rider issue 1 or Final Vengeance issue 1. Like, I really enjoyed these books. Here I just was left confused. The artwork wasn't nearly as dark. It wasn't even as intense. So yeah, I'm definitely going to pass on this one. Unfortunately, I'm going to give this one a D. You know, they don't all work, right? And that's just the way comics go sometimes. Lilith. This is issue 1, published by Vault. This one is written and drawn by Corin Howell. The artwork in this comic is actually really nice. The coloring is pretty cool, as it reminds you of those black, white, and red or black, white, and blood type of comic books from Marvel Comics, right? So the character looks nice. The main character's name is Lilith. She is a model on Earth. She's been banished from her home world somehow, and she's been trying to find her way back ever since, right? And we get to learn about this character, how she must survive, and it's basically cannibalism. Like, she has to find humans, the bad ones, and basically what she does is she preys on them. She can have a little fun with them at first, and then, you know, she kind of eats her prey like a praying mantis, right? Type of situation. She's got this pet cat to eliminate the morsels left over so it's not discovered by the police. And then there's an unfortunate situation that happens to our main character where she could be possibly mugged by a mugger, okay? And someone goes to save her. And then the story continues from there, and it looks like the relationship between these two characters either take a turn for the good or for the bad, and you must read the rest to find out. And this book was actually worthy, yes. I had no expectations for this comic book. This didn't seem like something that I always normally would read, but I do like horror books. I like the cover of the book, and I was like, well, why not check it out? You know, it's an independent book, and it definitely surprised me. So it is worthy. It's definitely a worthy comic book, and if I did have to grade this one, you know, I'm going to give this one a B-. I'm really curious to see the direction of where this goes, how the relationship established as our main character get home, and maybe the ramifications of it all. So definitely nice job for Vault for releasing Lilith issue 1. Violator Origin Issue 1. Now, I know a lot of you, this book may have been delayed and you might not got this book or have not been able to pick up this book. I put this book on my FOC and I wound up getting the Todd McFarlane cover, and that cover was released on time. So yes, it looks like this, and I was able to read it. So I'm not going to give away too much when it comes to this comic book. I want you to totally read it for yourself. But this book was 56 pages, $6. It's written by Mark Andricchio, and the art is done by Piotr Kowalski. Here's what you can expect out of the artwork. I don't think the artwork was very strong in my opinion, right? I mean, you do get the opening page and it looks great, but the rest of the artwork throughout the entire time wasn't that strong. A lot of the angel-like characters look the same, and what this book is an origin story of the Violator, okay? And we get to see who he was before he became the madness that he is. And basically, it's heaven before hell. Okay, that's basically all I'm going to say about the book. I don't want to spoil anything about it because probably most people didn't get it. If you did get it, let me know in the comments below. But personally, I'm going to say that this book is worthy. At first, I thought, this is going to suck. But I actually found myself intrigued before the Violator became the demented self that he was, and kind of like his persuasions to become the way that he is. So really decent book. So at the end of the day, I'm going to give this one a solid B. Looking forward to the second part of this because, you know, he's become something much more. So yeah, like I said, let me know in the comments below if you picked this one up. The Tin Can Society. This is issue 1. This is a 40-page comic for the price of $5. The writers here are Peter Warren and you have Rick Remender. He's not on the main cover, but he has a story credit attached to it. And the art here is done by Francisco Mobile. This cover right here that I'm showing you was originally the 1 in 10, but they flipped it and they made this the main cover. I think probably because of the printing errors that's been going on with Image Comics. Here's what you can expect in the interior art of this comic. The opening page is very brutal. It's very gory. I don't know if I want to show that so much, but it's a good looking book, and this book was much better than I ever expected. I know when I showed this in my haul, I had no idea what this is about, but this is very much like a murder mystery, and it was about this bunch of kids, a group of kids that wound up growing up together, and this was the boy that was murdered in here, and we're trying to get down to the nitty-gritty on who murdered him, right? And in the whole time of this comic book, you're learning about the condition of the boy, learning about the relationships of the groups of kids, right? And it's kind of a sad comic book because, you know, you always cherish those younger years of your life. You always remember those, you know, coming of age years, right? And now all these people are much older, and the guy that was killed was more of a role model. He's like a superhero and things like that. And we're led to believe that maybe somebody in the group actually murdered the guy, but we're not 100% sure. The book does a great job at introducing the cast of characters on who they are, what their names are, what their professions are, and I'm looking forward to this continuation of this series. There's going to be 9 issues of this, and this book was worthy. Definitely a very good read. Good independent week so far, and grading this book, I'm going to give this one an A. I cannot wait to see the direction of this comic. Mark Spears Monsters. This is issue 1. Now, honestly, guys, I am a little bit attached to this comic book as I helped promote this comic for Mark Spears on his Kickstarter, but I was anxiously awaiting this because I am a huge fan of his artwork, and he did Monsters trading cards, and then he came out with this Kickstarter for this comic. It was funded, and now he was publishing this through Diamond, right? And even though I knew that this comic was coming out, I never got a chance to read a copy. Always saw the artwork and what it looked like and things like that, okay? So, really excited for this book. It's, like I said, written and drawn by Mark Spears. It's published by Keen Spot, the same people that did Slaughter Otter. And the only downfall is I feel like this book is a little bit expensive, maybe because it's a smaller publisher. It is $6. But when you're looking for cool artwork and something a little bit different, like this is what you can expect when you're looking at this book. Just really well done. Here we see this character here. His name is Slayer, right? He's like a monster hunter, which is kind of cool. As you go through the pages of this comic, again, the artistic ability is just, it's so cool. It's so different, right? The way Mark Spears has all the monsters' eyes, they make you really focus in on the character, and I think that's what he's going for. Like, look at that, man. Look at Dracula in that instance. So, again, the artwork is just second to none here. It really stands out amongst the of the book, right? Now, this comic is kind of neat because what this story is about is there's this ancient relic, this ring type of thing that's been locked away and it's in danger of being released, right? And it can't get into the wrong hands because all the spirits could be released and bad things could happen. And you get introduced to the character. His name is Slayer, and he's very much a mysterious, like, monster hunter. Don't know too much of him. And in the present time, he's trying to go see this guy by the name of Fat Tony. And the walkway towards this comic book is hilarious to get to Fat Tony. This guy's kind of a wise ass, right? And it's really good. And then it does a good job at kind of introducing you to what this thing is, right? And it introduces you to characters from like monsters that you've known from the past, like Dracula, Van Helsing, and all those different types of things. This book is absolutely worthy. And I'm not saying that just because I'm attached to this project. I'm saying it because Mark Spears is a very talented artist. I've always known that for a very long time, but his writing ability for this series is really well done. So, again, if I had to grade this book, I'm going to give this one a solid A. Priced a little hefty. Maybe I would have liked a little bit more of a meteor story, but that's okay, man. Really, really good stuff. I highly suggest that you pick this one up just for the artwork alone. You can look at it for hours. Also, in the letters page of this, as a special thanks, I was in this, and I was alongside with also Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers. Let's see if I can get this for you guys to see that right there. Right? Special thanks from Mike Spider Slayer. I thought that was kind of cool, man, and alongside another YouTuber. Great stuff. Thanks, Mark, for putting me on the back of that comic book. And again, I wish you all the best of luck on the series. The Moon is following us. This is issue 1. 32 pages for the price of $4. It's written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson. Art is also done by Riley Rosmo. Now, for you guys that have been reading Transformers or got introduced to Daniel Warren Johnson's work in Transformers for the first time, you get to see how emotional of a writer that he can be, just even with robots. Now, go back a few series. If you ever read Do a Powerbomb, you get to see how emotionally driven that comic is. He also did the Wonder Woman series. He was part of the Jurassic League. He also did Murder Falcon, which is the very first series I read from him. And from that second on, I was hooked with his stuff a long time ago. And at first, people didn't like his artwork. But now, it seems like people are getting drawn into his artwork. But nevertheless, we have a new series here. And I couldn't be more excited for this comic book. Not sure what to expect going into it. So when we open up the artwork, we get to see the artwork from Riley Rosmo first. And right away, this book opens you up to this fantasy type of world where we get to see, which looks like a wife and a husband working together to try to rescue what you seem is a which you seem is to rescue their daughter, okay? And they're teamed up with like a wizard, a frog prince, different cast of characters. They try to meet a guy that carries weapons who's like a vampire, and it just goes 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds when you're reading this. I can say in the beginning, when you are reading it, it does overwhelm you a little bit because you're trying to grasp all these different characters at first. And that's not always my favorite thing. But by the time you wind up getting into this, to the end of this comic book, and I'm not going to spoil it, it slows down to the point to where it all makes sense now. Why our characters are doing what they're doing, okay? And in the adventure that they're in, right? And oh my gosh, it's like I am so happy that I discovered Daniel Warren Johnson, and I am happy that all of us have discovered this man because he is a true talent, right? And I'm not taking any credit away from Riley Rosmo's artwork here. He does a great job, and then Daniel Warren Johnson does the artwork at the end of this series. But this, I can tell, is just going to be an emotional roller coaster as you read this book, and I found myself right away thrusted into this fantasy world, what I want to know more of, and I even want to know more of this backstory. And this is another one of those books that's like next level A+ book for me. This is going to be the book that I'm going to tell you guys that you must pick up all week, okay? Don't miss out on this one. Don't forget that it's on the shelves, because it could be very easily get to the point where it's sold out and you might not be able to pick it up. So yes, guys, check out The Moon is Following Us. You won't be disappointed. So there you have it, webheads. There is this week's newest number ones. Quite a show. You got a little performance here. We got a credit on the back of a comic book. We got released of some great new independent comics this week. Tell me all your thoughts in the comments below. Can't wait to hear them. Of course, guys, if you want to check out more content, there's always more for you to click on. And support the local comic shops. Keep buying, keep collecting, but always remember, guys, read the comics so we can have great comic conversation. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.